Okay, this is a screencast for Chapter 4. We are starting on page 4-12 in your book. And the first step says to go ahead and open 4-1. And to do that, remember you're going to go to File, Open, navigate to where your data files are. Go ahead and go into Chapter 4 and then go ahead and select 4-1. Once you have the document open, you are then going to save it as orientation. So go ahead, do a File, Save As. Notice it saves it back into your data files, and go ahead and call this orientation. Now verify that the guides are showing, which are those green lines. Click the Workplace Switcher list arrow on the application bar, then click Advanced. So remember how to do that. Right now that is up in the upper right hand corner. Mine says Essentials. Go ahead and click and select Advanced, and you'll notice that it changes your panels and in the workspace. Go ahead and click on the rectangle tool and then click anywhere on the page. When the Shape tool dialog box appears, now in the width we're going to go ahead and type 2, and in the height we're going to go ahead and type 2 again, and then we can press OK. Now notice it automatically gives you a rectangle right there on your screen. So again, the way to do that was to select the rectangle tool and then click anywhere on your document, and then the box opens up, and then you can type in the height of 2 and the width of 2. Now at any point during the screencast, if you get stuck or behind, you can go ahead and pause it, and you can go back and catch up. Remember, you get to work at your own pace with this, but you can listen to the screencast to follow along and get the directions. So now that we've done that, click the swatches in the stack of collapsed panels to open the swatch panel. So again, go ahead over there and open swatches. Verify that the fill button is activated. Right here, this is the fill. This one's the stroke. We want to have the fill on top. And click the green in the swatch color. You may need to scroll to find it. And you'll notice then that your rectangle is shaded green. Now click the stroke button. So select the stroke, and you'll see that it now comes to the front. Click brick red on the swatches panel. You'll notice it says brick red, and it applies it. Now notice it's a little bit hard to see, so then what we're going to do is we're going to open the stroke panel. It's the tab over in the swatches panel, and then where it says weight, go ahead and highlight 1, press 6, and press enter, and now you can see that the red stroke is visible. Now what we're going to do is work on aligning it. So you'll notice, click the Align Stroke to Outside button, and you'll see in the stroke panel right here. So if you move your mouse over each one, it shows the different options. So we are to click the Align Stroke to the Outside button. You'll notice that it moves the stroke to the exact outside of the object. Now click on the Align to Center and notice the difference. Now click the Align Stroke to Inside button. Now it moves it to the inside of your shape. Click the top left reference point in the control panel. So all the way over to the control panel right here, we're going to click the top left reference point. And in the control panel, type 0 in the X. And then Y text box. You're going to also put a 0 there as well. Press enter, and you're going to see where it moves the rectangle. Let's go ahead and do a quick save, and we're going to move on over to page 4-13. Go ahead and grab your selection tool, and then make sure your rectangle is selected. Now we're going to click the stroke button on the tools panel, and then click the apply none. So you're going to go over to your tools panel on the left. You're going to see your stroke. And Okay, again, make sure the green rectangle is selected. So now you're going to click the stroke button on the tools panel and then click apply none. So go over right here, move your mouse over where it says apply color and it shows the red. That's way you know that it's referring to the stroke. If you click on the little arrow in the lower right hand corner, see the dialog that pops up. Do you see where it says apply none? Click apply none. The stroke is then removed from the rectangle with no loss of the stroke. The rectangle is no longer aligned with the top left corner. Press V and that should give you the selection tool. Then drag the frame so that the top left corner is aligned with the top left of the page. So just go ahead and verify that it is snapped in and it works. Click Edit on the application bar, then click Repeat Step. So Edit, Step, and Repeat, and you're going to see that a box opens up. Verify that the horizontal and vertical text boxes are set to 0 in the control panel, and then type 3 in the repeat count text box. And type 2, so right here where it says repeat, we're going to select 3, and then in the offset horizontal text box, you're going to go ahead and have 2 be there. And then go ahead and click OK. Now you're going to notice that you have additional rectangles there. And see, notice I skipped a step. I was supposed to type 2 in the vertical. So we're going to go back and I'm going to undo. And then I'm going to go back into the edit, step and repeat. I'm going to make sure it says 3 there, 2 there. And then for vertical offset, I'm going to put 2. And then now my screen looks like the picture in the book. So click the pasteboard to deselect all of the rectangles, then click the top left rectangle and press and hold Shift. While pressing and holding Shift, click the second rectangle. So you'll notice that it selects those 2 rectangles and then click Edit on the application bar and then click on Step and Repeat. And now I'm going to turn the page, and we are on page 4-14. Now, where it says in the step and repeat dialog box, type 1 in the repeat count box. So we're going to put 1. Then go ahead and type 0 in the vertical offset. And type 4 in the offset horizontal text box. And then click OK. Select the bottom 2 rectangles on the page. So remember, you click one, press and hold Shift, and click the other, and it selects it. And then go ahead and click Edit, Step and Repeat. And in that dialog box for the repeat count, make sure 1 is there. Make sure 0 is in the vertical offset, and instead of 4, it needs to be -4, and then click OK. Notice that we've created a little checkerboard look. Now if you press 0 on the keyboard, you're able to preview without the margins and guides there. I'm going to press W again so it goes back to where I see my margins and guides. I'm going to go and do a quick save. Now it wants us to hide all guides and then copy and paste. Okay, now what we're going to do is select all of our green objects. An easy way to do that is Command A, which is select all, and it will select all of our green objects. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste. Now you can see that my objects didn't exactly paste on top. An easy way to paste on top is if you go to Edit, Paste in Place, and now they pasted directly on top of my green squares. Now what we're going to do is click on our center reference point in our control panel. Then we're going to go over to the rotation angle. go ahead and highlight the 0 and click 90 and press enter. So now it looks like we have solid green there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the control panel, select the fill, and then we're going to select the dark blue. Now I'm over on page 4-15. We're going to go ahead and do a Control A, and recall that that selects everything on our document, and then we're going to click and drag the upper right handle of the bounding box toward the center of the page, releasing your mouse when your checkerboard resembles figure 27. So doing that, notice how it gets smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and move mine into the center. Notice that my guide pops up, letting me know that I have it centered vertically and horizontally. Okay, now what we're going to do, press and hold the space, start dragging, and then press and hold the space bar and notice what it does. If I press and hold the space bar, notice how there is space in between my rectangles. If you look at figure 28, your screen should resemble. With the space bar still pressed, press and hold Shift Option. So Shift, we're going to start dragging again. Shift often space bar, and notice we can put it back together, move it around, and have quite the interesting looking shapes. Now go ahead and turn to page 4-16. Okay, on page 4-16, take a look at figure 29 and take a look at my figure and make sure that yours resembles that. Go ahead, make sure your objects are deselected and do a quick save. Now we're going to go ahead and use the gap tool. Click the gap tool on the toolbar. It looks like a double-sided arrow, and go ahead and locate that now. It is towards the top. It's the 4th tool down. Notice when you move your mouse over it, you get the screen hint that tells you that it's the gap tool. Go ahead and select that and position the gap tool over the middle vertical gap, and then click and drag left so that your grid resembles figure 30. So I'm going to select right over here. Notice how it changes. So I can start moving, and notice how those rectangles or squares now become rectangles. Position the gap tool over the bottom horizontal gap, and then go ahead and move your mouse till it resembles closely figure 31. Then position the gap tool over the gap between the 2 frames in the upper right corner. Press and hold Shift and then click and drag to the left so that your grid resembles figure 3-2. So I'm going to press and hold Shift and then drag, and notice that it is only moving the gap in between those 2 rectangles. Press and hold Control, or actually press and hold Command, and then click and drag the left edge of the grid. The width of the 4 frames on the left increase. Okay, while pressing Command and moving it over, notice that you can increase or decrease. We want to go ahead and increase. Then you're going to press and hold Option, and notice as you do that, you can drag down. If you take a look at figure 33, you can see how your screen kind of looks. Now go ahead and do a quick save. We're going to go ahead and stop here, and then you're going to move on to the next video.